Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Our treasurer, Jim Chalmers, is out today bragging about how encouraging new numbers out today show annual inflation fell in November. So that would make it sound like your cost of living is falling. And of course, that's not the case. And as Jim correctly points out in his post below, that the inflation number that we got for November of 2025, 3.4% annualized. So keep in mind, as much as your cost of living has gone up over the last 5 years or so, it's continuing to go up another 3.4% on top of that. But it gets worse because governments lie about inflation. CPI is not inflation, and I'm going to show that in a few graphs. But firstly, let's have a look at the government's number that, in 2020, if something cost $100, it now costs $126. So 26% increase. But it's gone up a lot more than that. And I'm going to show it from a different perspective today. In 2020, households were spending on average 26% of household income to pay the mortgage, and now it is 45%. So it'd be fair to say for working families, for people who care about inflation, and this is rents now. Rent is 33% of the average person's income, a percentage of income spent on rent, averaging 33%. So would it be fair to say for working families, for working class people, the biggest expense they have is their house or their apartment, either the mortgage they're paying or the rent that they're paying. And here's the first example. So the ABS is the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the government inflation reporting, or CPI, which is not inflation, it's a government lie, versus Commonwealth Bank. So Commonwealth Bank is taking data from actual customers who are actually paying X amount of rent out of their bank account to their landlord, to the property company. And we can see since the start of 2020 till roughly the end of 2024, the Australian Bureau of Statistics was reporting a 17 point, sorry, it keeps clicking onto the next chart when I don't want it to. The ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, reporting 17.5% inflation in rents. CBA reporting 32%. So the actual market rents are going up almost double as much as the government is claiming. Let's have a look at another chart. This is from CoreLogic. And we can see the Australian Bureau of Statistics rental costs from January 2020 to the start of 2025. Again, up about 17%. Consumer prices up about 22, 23%. We looked at that earlier. Yet advertised rents, so CoreLogic, the real estate company, looking at advertised rents up about 45%, nearly 50% since December 2019 to the start of 2025. More than double what the government is saying. So your biggest expense, your rent, is going up twice as much as the official government inflation numbers are calculating, right? So government's, again, lying to you about inflation. You might say, well, we'll have a look at electricity in a sec. But you might say, well, how would governments lie about this, or why? Well, one of the ways they're doing it is a lot of people get Commonwealth government assistance to help pay their rent. They get government money to help pay rent. So if your rent goes up $100, but you get $100 more from the government, or you qualify for some kind of welfare payment, well, your rent didn't really go up because the CPI calculates what you actually pay in theory, or how they calculate what you pay, not what the actual rent is. And a lot of us aren't getting government assistance, so we're paying the actual market rate. So this is a gross distortion. It's not accurately reporting inflation. If we have a look, we can see another example in electricity prices, and this is a great chart. So remember, we all got those electricity rebates. In Queensland, it was $1,000 from the state government on top of the $300 we got from the federal government. So what's happening is if your electricity bill in Queensland goes up $1,300, but you get $1,300 rebate from the government calculates that as zero inflation. And we can see the green line here showing electricity prices indexed to, well, that's the midway through 2022. It was at 100, and now it's up 34% to about mid 2025. So in the space of about 3 years, from mid 2022 to mid 2025, the electricity prices went up about 34%. But the government, in their new monthly series calculating inflation, showed that since 2017, that electricity only 105, the same as what it was in 2017. And if you take when that monthly number started, it was around 100. So the government's reporting in the CPI that electricity prices went up 5%, when the actual price of electricity went up 34%, because they're counting when the government goes into debt, they run up hundreds of billions of dollars of debt. They give you a rebate on your electricity bill, and oh, look, there we go, there's no inflation. And of course, they don't count the debt as part of the inflation. And I talked earlier about how, for most working class people, the cost of a house, your mortgage, your rent, or the price you have to pay for the house, that's your biggest household expense. Have a look since the 1990s, indexed to 100, we compare ourselves to other major nations. Have a look at how much housing prices or how much inflation we've had in Australia versus other major nations. We are leading the world in the real estate hyperbubble, in the inflation. Again, why isn't this being accurately captured in our inflation numbers? Don't necessarily think it's a conspiracy. I just think governments are incompetent. Governments want to present statistics in a manner that favor what they want to achieve. And let's just have a look at one more graph. So this measures the house price income ratio. So basically what it's saying is, what's the median, household income, or the median income, relative to how many years of income it costs to buy a house. And of course, in Australia, back in the 90s, you could 3.5 years of income was enough to pay for a house. Now it's 9.7. It's almost 10. And this is data that only goes to about the start of 2025, I believe, mid 2025. Look at it in other countries. In America, you need 4.8 times income to buy a house. So houses relative to income are twice as expensive in Australia as they are currently in the US, and almost twice as expensive as they were in the real estate bubble, which led to the 2008 crisis. So just keep in mind, our treasurer out there bragging about how inflation's come down. Let's go back. You can read his, the result is better than the market expected and is very welcome. Do you feel like this is great? Like that your cost of living is going up another 3.4% on top of how much it's already gone up? And ask yourself, why is the government deliberately creating inflation? I've covered that in other videos. Inflation is a government tax. It is deliberately created by government. Thank you for listening.